Hello there everybody and welcome to Brambletye. Quite a different look today, as you can see. I'm on my own. I'm not quite at Brambletye, although we have got the Italian map behind me that you can see. But anyway, Steve can't make it today. He's sort of busy doing other things, so he's left me in charge of the production meeting. Well, he's not really left me in charge of the production meeting because you know Steve. I've got Steve's notes. So let's see what we're going to come up with. But really what I do need is I need you basically to help me. Steve often says I talk to the camera far too much, but really I'm talking to you guys, and that's one thing I actually quite like to do, whether it's through a comment or, you know, sometimes we meet people in the street and it's wonderful to actually meet you. I mean, often it's Button that gets recognised rather than Steve and myself. But anyway, let's get back to the production meeting. So welcome everybody to the production meeting. I do have to slightly follow what Steve said on his notes, but I'm sure you know me, I'll probably go completely off track. So let's have a little look. What has he written? I've lost my pen to start off with. That's a really good start, isn't it? Anyway, Steve's notes. Number 1, he's asked me to refer to the comments because actually the comments that we received, there was a mixture of comments, and if you can remember the vlog that Steve brought out, which was actually seeing the staircase where we envisaged the staircase to be, the barrelled vaults downstairs, going up the stairs, which aren't there, so hence we had to, well, Steve had to climb the scaffolding, climb up the ladder, and then climb through that opening to get you into the upstairs area. And on that vlog, Steve showed you around and showed you all of the stonework that he's already done and where he shifted that sort of window that was sort of not good, and he's positioned it into the middle. And then we've got those gorgeous stones that he worked on. And really, he was asking, what do you think? Do we leave them there? Leave them sort of not covered? Because the reality is, as you probably heard him mention, we actually need to entournico inside the building, because Brambletye initially, the farmhouse, actually had entournico right the way around the upper section of the building, and that was the part where the people actually lived. But anyway, Steve and I feel, after he's removed all of that, the building's a much cleaner looking building. The stonework can actually be seen. And I mean, on some of the stones, maybe I'm going to get him to find a photo for you, you can actually see some fossils that are embedded in some of those great big stones, which are absolutely fascinating. Maybe I should write that down. The stones with the fossils in. I quite like that idea. I have already gone off track. But anyway, the question Steve asked of you was, do you think we should leave those major stones that go up and go around, should we leave them? Or maybe we should entournico? Well, actually, the comments were definitely what we thought they would be, and that's to leave them. And it'll actually show the work that Steve actually did in putting all those wonderful stones back in place to form the openings. And it gives us that, I don't know, that rustic look of the building. So that was one of the comments, and hopefully I've managed to cover that for you. There was also comments that were referring to about the exterior staircase. 1 or 2 people mentioned about the exterior staircase. Well, the fact is, we decided some time ago that the building looks cleaner without the external staircase. So it's going to have to stay that way, unless drastically we think it needs to be put back. But at the moment, the external staircase is not going to be there. You've also got to remember, you know, Steve's background was security. So a lot of the things, when he looks at the property, he's not just looking at the property, he's looking at it with another eye. He's looking at it with that eye of security for us. And if we have so many entrances into the farmhouse, that in itself is not good for security. So hopefully I've covered that comment for you. We had a few comments about our banter. Some people think, oh my God, I don't think they're ever going to watch us again. The fact is, you probably picture already we're slightly different characters, you know, and in your relationships, you're probably different characters to your partner or your husband or your wife, you know, and we are different characters, but I think we complement each other. So maybe that's a question for you. Do you think we complement each other? You know, I'll just hold him up, Steve's notes. I should have had a picture of him actually. Should I have brought a photo? Yeah, that would have been good. So, do you think I've kind of covered the comments? Maybe I have. One thing he also suggested to tell you was he apologised for the lighting. The lighting inside the farmhouse is not very good, and you can imagine it's only got one light bulb in that sort of ceiling area downstairs, and upstairs is just provided by the natural light that comes through the openings. So apologies if anybody thought that it was a little bit dark, and yes, it was a bit dark at times. I said so as well, I noticed, but that couldn't have been helped. Maybe he might have to use one of those, I don't know, an industrial light that he's got, you know, those that's on their tripod with the yellow thing. Anyway, I don't know. Or maybe I'll go around with a torch. Anyway, probably we'll try and do something else if we have to show that inside again for you. So that's covered him on apologies for light. Oh, plus the fact he's got two other little bits put in brackets actually, and he refers to storm and rain, because it also had, and we had encountered storms and rain, which had the hottest day that we'd ever had, followed by horrendous storms and rain. And in fact, the rest of Italy, I believe, also had that as well. So get back to track, Lynn, for goodness sake. I've got to talk to myself, because that's what Steve probably would have said to me. Or maybe you guys are going to say that to me. Get back on track, Lynn. What's the next production meeting going to be? He's got here downstairs vaults. So, presumably, he's referring to maybe you having a look at the vaults downstairs as well. So I'll have to clarify that one with him. So if you want to see the downstairs vaults, maybe we could try and do some of that for you. Steve was a little bit concerned when I started to give you sort of perhaps more inside information about our life at Brambletye. So what I did do, I asked my group, I asked the Brambletye Facebook group, I also have asked yourselves, the Brambletye group on YouTube, would you like to comment? Would you like to give Lynn and Steve some questions? And we will try and see if we can answer them. Well, there were a few questions that actually came up. One major one, strangely enough, pros and cons of living in Italy. So, let me see. Pro. First of all, the weather, okay? The weather is great. Okay, I've mentioned the storms, I've mentioned the rain, but the sun shines. And the biggest thing I've mentioned several times to you, we can sit outside. We sit outside every month of the year. And that for us is an added bonus. Although you might be saying, well, I do that where I live as well. And you might do. So let me get back. What's the pros about Italy specifically? For us, the people, the culture. Okay, I'm rhyming off like other people do. List. People, the culture. Oh, and I like the little villages and I like the little houses. No, yeah, I like all of that. But what it is for us, we feel at home. There is just something about it. People might say it ticked all our boxes. It didn't necessarily tick all our boxes. If it had ticked all our boxes, I would have had a house and I would have had the Christmas tree up there for maybe this year, but now we know it's going to be the following year. Anyway, let's think about the pros. The pros for us is we're living a far, far healthier life for us. I grow the vegetables, which you've seen. The tomatoes are growing like crazy. We live outside a lot of the time. We're in a clean environment. Lots of people comment that, you know, the streets are clean, there's no rubbish, any of that kind of thing. The air pollution is good. The light pollution is fantastic in the evening. We come back from being out and you just look up at the stars and they're shining and they're twinkling and they're just gorgeous. So those are just sort of what I would say, the natural elements that's around us. I mean, the mountains behind us, we go for walks with Button, and you know, you seem as if maybe somebody that has a new baby sees things for the first time again from their childhood. You look at maybe, I don't know, a flower slightly different. It's a little bit like that for me. When I take Button for a walk, I notice the flowers, I notice the butterflies, the birds, the pollinators, and also I did see a porcupine with her one day, which was a bit of a shock for myself, but Steve did inform me I shouldn't go too far walking on my own in the early hours of the morning. When I say early hours of the morning, we're talking about 5:30, 6 o'clock, because you do get up early. So I would say for us, lots of pros. People friendly, food fantastic. Oh, and I should mention the wine, because you know that we all like wine. We've been to a lot of wineries, and we've also assisted in grape picking and also the drinking of the wine, which we do like to do with friends and get to know different kinds of wine, different things that's in the area. So for us, there are lots and lots and lots of pros. Okay, here goes for the cons. I would say maybe the bureaucracy, but then again, if you are new to a country and you don't know the procedure correctly, then you are going to find it a little bit more difficult. Steve did touch on it the other day. Do you always want to hear the good things? That's a question for you. Do you always want to hear the good things? Well, for me, I like to turn sometimes the bad things into a little bit better things. And sometimes the bureaucracy takes a while, takes time, you plough through it. But what we've decided to do for ourselves, I'm doing this as if Steve's here actually. Anyway, what we've done for ourselves to get through that bureaucracy is to challenge it ourselves, not to have a third party, not to have an interpreter, to go ourselves and deal with it. And that's what we've done. And that's partly how Steve handled opening the company, the Brambletye company that he organised, so he can build our own property. He can build and work legally on Brambletye. So yes, bureaucracy, I would say, is the major con. But if you tackle it head on, don't take no for an answer, read up the facts, know what you're talking about, then deal with it. You can get there. And I think that's what we've done. Also, be confident. Get out there, speak to the people, say hello to them. I can remember when we first sort of went out there, you know, people might look at us slightly different because we look a little bit different to them. Blonde hair probably. But anyway, what I would say is for us, we say hello. Well, I definitely say hello to everybody, and Button wants to say hello to everybody we meet. So cons, I think the cons are a lot lower than the pros. And the pros for us are getting bigger every day. So what am I doing now? Oh my God, I haven't got Steve to put me back on track. I could phone a man, but he'd probably not answer the phone. So let me get back on track. So what is the next video going to be about? What is the next vlog going to be about? I think there are some things that we talked about on the last time and it never materialised. Maybe they're on the floor. Maybe Steve put them on the floor when he did the editing. So now I'd like to see BB a little bit more. Maybe you would. So I think BB could have a little bit more of a, I don't know, of a showing, I suppose. That's probably what I would say. Show the process that we went through with BB. And for yourselves, I really thank you all for watching, listening, commenting, liking if you like. And, you know, if you haven't already subscribed, we'd appreciate that you could come along on our journey of our adventures that we have. So there's more in the can, as they say, and I suppose I have to come to an end. So it's goodbye from me, Lynn. Goodbye from Mr. Steve on the notes, and we'll see you next time. And oh, a woof woof from Button, because she's with Steve. So thank you all for joining us. I hope I've not nattered her on too much. When I get to this point, I think, should I have said that to you or not? I wonder. But anyway, if you want to comment, if you want to say anything, if you've got your own questions, then that's the way to get them answered. Comment. So nice to see you all. Thank you for being in the production meeting. It's been a little bit different and a little bit tricky for me on my own, but I don't really know what it's going to turn out like. So thank you. And so what's it? Buonanotte.